Hi, it's Jen Murphy again. Episode 4 of my solo endeavor. I know it looks weird that I'm wearing headphones, but it's supposed to help my sound a little better. I don't know if it is or not. We'll see. We will see. Um, I wanted to talk this week a little bit about social media. And I know it's probably been talked about a lot, and this may have been covered. I don't know. It's I feel like I used to feel this way about texting. And now I feel like it's carried over into social media. I mean, a couple of years ago, I wasn't so involved in social media. It took me a long time to get on it. I think I was fighting it, probably just because I'm older. And I was like, that's not my life. I didn't grow up with any kind of social media. So now I understand, how it can be used and how it's helpful. It can be used in many good ways. But I also feel like I used to feel like texting, although it's great at a certain point, just it almost feels like it's designed to just make you insane because it's just too much of like a specific, like instant gratification. Like to text somebody and immediately need something right back or expect them to respond back right away. And if they don't, then, as opposed to, how I grew up with a house phone and you had to wait till somebody got home from work and check their messages. Uh, So you're like, "Well, maybe they won't check their messages for like 6 hours, so it's cool." There never used to be a problem with somebody not getting back to you within 6 hours. It was never like, "Oh, this person's ignoring me." It's just like, "Well, yeah, they're not home for 6 hours. That makes complete sense." And now I feel like social media, whoever is working this or whoever's designing the way it works could do a little better to not make everything so immediate and apparent. Like, uh, uh, it shows on Instagram, if you send somebody a message, it shows if they've seen it. It's like, I don't need that information. I don't need to know that you've already like that's the information that I don't need. And what is it? Why is it necessary for you to even put that on? I almost feel like social media is like it wouldn't surprise me if it came out that they are owned by all the pharmaceutical companies or something. Like they're creating something that's going to keep us like needing meds to deal with what they've created because you're making me insane. Why are you purposely trying to give me way too much information just to keep me like addicted and insane to seeing this information? I don't need to know that you read my message. Just let me think that you're busy and not ignoring me. I'm pretty good at staying off social media. I'm not one of those girls that like goes down a rabbit hole and, goes back to a guy's page 3 years ago to see, you know, what he was doing or who his girlfriend was or something. But I feel like they purposely try and show you that just to make you insane. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I also my mouth just farted. That's weird. I just did a mouth fart. Sorry that you had to hear that. It made me think of sometimes when you have sex and like it's kind of sweaty, so your body makes a fart and you're like, that was our stomachs that made that fart, right? It wasn't. Okay. Like two bodies rubbing together. Okay, now I'm just horny. Anyway, um things are pretty good this week. I haven't had as much depression as I have during this COVID. But I did notice there's certain days I've never realized that like depression can take on different forms in your body. I always think of it as being like just in your head, which it mostly is, I think. But I feel like there's certain days where it's not a head depression, it's more like a body depression. Like your head might my head will feel okay. I'll change it to sorry. I'm not talking about what you're going through. My head will feel okay, but then certain days there's like a body depression where just your body is just so like almost like that feeling. Like, have you ever been so depressed where it's just like hard to like lift your arms? Like just that act of like lifting up your arm, you're just like, I just can't. It just hurts. I can't do it. And I don't know if I almost, there's many times when I almost feel like the midsection, like your stomach just has like, it should have its own brain also. Cause there's so much that happens down there that is not in control up here. Just even like nervousness. Sometimes I feel like I have like a real like nervous disorder. Cause in my head, I'll be like, this is fine. Nothing's wrong. Like, I feel good. Like when I go on auditions or even uh, if I'm talking to somebody that I might be excited about, like a guy or I don't know, comedians, audition, I don't know. Or even when I'm on stage sometimes, my head feels like, no, you're good. This is totally fine. But then my body is like shaking. And I'm like, why is my body completely different than it's like, why am I not able to control what is happening to my body right now? Because I feel fine in my head and then my body is shaking for no reason. So I might have a nervous disorder. I don't know. I also feel like the older I get, my mind is just fucking with me like even more. My mind has fucked with me for a lot of my life. Maybe I'm just more aware of it as I get older, but it feels like it's getting worse because I feel like there's two different. There's me, and then there's like a brain that's talking to me that is really fucking with me. Like since COVID started and gyms have been shut down in Los Angeles. If you're listening outside of Los Angeles, you're probably still able to go run on a treadmill. But I have just been taking I used to run a lot. Now I just walk for a long time. I take like 2-hour walks. And I have a couple different routes that I go here around LA. And there's one that goes over a freeway overpass. And it's a very short one. Probably takes me like 10 seconds to get over, 20. I don't know, whatever. You do the math. It's a freeway overpass. But when I walk over that freeway overpass, there's this voice in my head that will just be like, you can jump over. And I'm like, I don't want to jump over. And it's like, but you could. Why are you fucking with me right now? Why would you even suggest that that's an option? Even though every day my one thought is like, please don't let me die today. I really like living. And then there's another side that's like, but why? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't understand how your own brain can fuck with you that much when I have no desire to die, but it's suggesting here's a possibility. I mean, it's usually not a problem. I usually can kind of laugh at it. But there was one day where I just like got so much anxiety that I just ran as fast as I could across because I feel like I can't trust my own brain. Like, what if that bad side of the brain is becomes so much stronger than the logical side that I have? And then that one is the one that like kills me one day because oh, this is weird. Sorry, I don't mean to freak you out. We could keep it lighter, but why? Listen to Jillinoff if you want to keep. um, so I am feeling more hopeful. I have some live shows coming up. Friday, February 26th. I will be in San Diego. In March 12th and 13th, I'll be up north near Oakland. in Alameda, California for a whole weekend of headlining shows, which I have not done in all of this pandemic. So that's exciting. If you live up there, or if you know anybody that does, spread the word. But yeah, it's good. I feel like I've kind of lost I'm starting to get over the extreme loneliness that I was feeling during the pandemic. So that's good. I still wonder, only because I get sometimes just so sad for like no reason. I just wonder. I have this conversation with my partner at Gillinoff, Christina Walkinshaw, because she says she just naturally has like so much more serotonin. She says dopamine in her brain. And I guess that's true. Like certain people are just happier by nature, but I'm like, if I'm sadder by nature and I almost have to like work harder to, I mean, I also think I'm happy. I don't know if I have more of a tendency to get sad. I I assume that's something you're born with, or is it a choice? Or she says she was born with it, which I agree, but sometimes it's a choice. Some people just like work extremely hard to create that happiness for themselves. Or is it something that's just in your brain that you don't have control of? Like I feel like my brain just like just drops, just dark sometimes for no reason. I'll just be feeling really good and then it's just and I feel it. It's like a physical feeling where it's just like and I'm like, "Oh, fuck, it's happening." And I don't know. I don't know where that comes from. You would think I would bring up some topics that I had answers to, and that's not what's happening right now. uh, I mean, the good thing is now that I've gotten older, I've learned to just kind of roll with it. There's also something really good about being in your 40s where shit happens and you're like, here we go. Like I sometimes just laugh at myself, like, oh, excuse me. I'm getting on this roller coaster again. And then you just sort of ride it out. Wait for the roller coaster to end. It's just hard when other people notice, and then you're like, the 2-year-old I babysit. Sometimes I can't control my tears, and then he'll just look at me like, Auntie Jen is sad. I'm like, I'm so sorry that you have to witness this at such a young age, but maybe I'm teaching you something. I want to bring up something completely off topic, but it's been bothering me for years. And I feel like I'm the only, no, I'm not going to talk about that. Well, now I have to because I brought it up. I feel like anybody's house that I've gone to that uses a kitchen sponge, they are, every time they use the kitchen sponge to clean up their countertops and then they put it on their glasses. I hope I haven't talked about this before because I feel like I have and now I'm embarrassed. I'm like, that's what I use to clean my mouth, the glasses that I put my lips on, and you're using it to clean a counter. And then I never trust those people's glasses again. Anyway, talk amongst yourselves. I want to talk about casual sex for a minute. BRB. I've had encounters in my life where it's like, there's definitely people who like, you don't want a relationship, but you're just going to have sex, which is cool. I mean, I'm all for that. But I feel like you can only do that with people where the sex is just good. Like, it's good. You get off, it's fun, you have a good time. But I feel like if you have, like, really amazing sex, how do you I feel like, there's just, like, a weird void after the guy leaves. Because when sex is really amazing and you actually, like, feel when it's really amazing, I feel like the p I feel weird using the word penis, whatever. It's just like vagina. It's like, can we have better words? These words feel weird. When it's really amazing and you're actually, like, feeling, like, everything, like, every single thrust, like, up inside of you, and then the guy leaves, even though it was so awesome and it's so good, there's just this, like, weird, empty, like, void left, and feel like that would not happen with men because they're the ones going inside of you, but I feel like with women, you're being entered, like, you're just let's say it's like 30 minutes, whatever, how much time it is, just like you're being entered for that amount of time. There's something like going inside, and then there's just like this empty, like void or empty hole just felt like in the center of my body. I'm just like, well, now what do I do? It was just sex. We're not in love or there's no relationship. And I'm just like left with like this empty void in my whole midsection, just wondering, like, "Well, when am I gonna get this again?" Because if we're just friends, then, you know, maybe 2 weeks from now, maybe 3 weeks from now, I don't know. I think the fuck buddy situation seems so ideal, and it's so tough. Because, like I said, if it's really good, you're just like the next night, you're like, "Can we do this again?" It's like, "No, we're not serious. We don't live together." You know what I mean? It's just I don't know, it's a weird feeling. I almost feel like especially because if you're just friends and if somebody's sleeping with somebody else, you don't know what other people they're sleeping with. You don't know what's going on. So I feel like I'm almost just like waiting my turn. It's like I pick a number at like a deli. Like, is it my turn again? Are you ready to sleep with me again? What's happening? How many other people are in line? I don't know how many women are at this deli counter right now. I just want it to be my turn again. Is this depressing? I hope not. I'm not going to jump off the freeway overpass. Don't worry. I just wanted to share that because I feel like I can share it here more than I can just tell one friend or, God forbid, a family member who would be like, Jen needs to be committed because she's looking at freeway overpasses way too deeply. I think all we want to have, I mean, all I want to have is like a really fun, good connection with somebody. And hopefully sex is involved. But how do you do that without getting like really serious about somebody? How do you just have fun? Unless, like I said, this whole thing is fucking tricky. It's so tricky. And I have an empty hole in my midsection that wants to be filled. I'm really sorry that I'm burping so much. I never burp this much normally. I think Christina is like entering my body right now. She's like, how dare you do a solo podcast? I'm going to put a bunch of burps in you. I also wonder, I feel like I take rejection from men like way too hard, like much harder than I should. I'm wondering if that's like from the first time you ever got rejected. Like, I don't know where. I'm always trying to figure out where this weird shit comes from. But I felt like the first time I got like seriously rejected was when I lost my virginity, probably. And I was like saving my virginity. I was like, because if you've listened to previous podcasts, I will tell you that I was very delusional as a teenager. And I thought that you just turned 18 and fell in love and got married, and that was it. I thought there was like a no question that you just get married and start having babies or something. So I was like saving. I remember my friends were losing their virginity and they were like, why don't you do it? I'm like, no, I have to wait till I'm in love. And then I got drunk and lost my virginity. And it was not fun. It was not a fun night. But the guy that it happened with, this was my senior year of high school. So then the prom was coming up. So it happened. So then I asked him, like, do you want to go to the prom with me? He was like, no, I'm seeing somebody. And I was like, okay. So I didn't go to my senior prom. But what I did do, which I did mention on the Jill Knopf podcast, if any of you listen, I did the night of the senior prom get a fold out chair and went and sat in the chair on the street where I knew that everybody was going to be. Back in my day, everybody got a limo to go to prom. That's how it was in the 90s. Late 90s, by the way. I'm not that old. I am that old. Everybody would get a limo. So I went and sat in a fold out chair where I knew all the limos were going to pass by. And I sat and I watched them all go by. And I almost feel like it wasn't that depressing of a night. I was just like, oh, I just want to see all the limos go by. In hindsight, it sounds very depressing. But at the time, I was just like, whatever, no big deal. And now I'm still struggling. Guys, if you're 18 listening to this, unleash your feelings. Don't keep them inside. I don't want you to have an empty hole in your stomach. Okay, I don't know. I think if you want to give me any suggestions of what to talk about, you could email me at jenmurphylive@gmail.com. Because I love doing this, but sometimes I'm not sure what topics to do. I will say one more thing. Before I lost my virginity, when all my friends were saying I should do it, I was very curious. I think I was like 16, 17 years old. So I was like really curious about what it would feel like. So I remember one night after my parents went to bed, I got up out of bed and I went to the kitchen and I got a carrot. This is before they made baby carrots. All right. So these were like full size, like big carrots with the green stem still on. The full size carrots, guys. And I got a carrot out of the refrigerator and I got the carrot peeler and I peeled it down so it didn't have any of that, little hairs growing out of the top, the sides of it. And I peeled it all the way down and I cut off the stem and then I took it to my bedroom and I put the carrot inside of me to see what it would feel like to have a penis inside of you. Luckily, since then, no penis has been as bad as that carrot. Did not feel good. I was like, maybe I'm not in a hurry to do this. But then I got really nervous that like I couldn't go throw it in like the kitchen trash because my mom would be like, "Why is this perfectly good unpeeled carrot in the trash?" And if she picked it up, she'd be like, "Why does it smell like 17-year-old vagina?" Which I don't know what that smells like. Uh, so I walked out to the trash cans and I like took it and buried it like really deep down into the trash just so my mom wouldn't find out that I wasted a carrot. Guys, it's the original dildo. I don't know if you know that, but before dildos were made, women used carrots. I'm sure I'm not the first one. Maybe some of you will try it now. I also think I probably stuck the wrong end inside of me. Because when I think about it now, the carrot is bigger where the green stem is, and then it gets smaller. And I for sure stuck the smaller part up inside of me. Because having not seen a penis before that, I probably assumed the smaller part was the norm. Now that I'm older, I realize let's go for the bigger part. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a late bloomer. I was the mascot of my high school. I was Rodney the Ram, which isn't even a female character. But that's okay now because now we have no genders. So actually now I was very progressive at the time as a female being Rodney the Ram. I didn't even realize how progressive I was. Oh my God. I was ahead of my time. I should go back there. Temple City High School. Here we go. Shout out to Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor behind me. I enjoy doing this. I understand if it's not real exciting, but I appreciate all of you that would take the time to watch. I'm doing this as a challenge for myself because it's difficult, but I want to talk about stuff and really just let me know if there's anything. I love many different topics. I just sometimes can't think of which ones are going to be interesting or which ones anybody would want to hear about. So I also had something come up this week. Okay, I'll end after this if you're sick of me. Where I met somebody that was like living not far away, but like 45 minutes away, let's say. And these two, I don't know, it's just weird. I don't know what you do if you meet somebody. Like you can say, "Hey, should we meet for a drink?" But it's like one of you's going to have to drive. And if you have a drink, I don't know. I don't know why it seems more difficult now. Maybe just because since Uber came along, I'm more aware of like not drinking and driving. But the guy was like, "Well, because I told him like, well, I can have one drink, but then I can't drive." He's like, "Well, if you have more than one, like you can stay on my couch," which is totally fine. But then I feel like once you get there, you're going to have to make the decision within the first drink of how good you feel about this dude. You're going to have to be like, "Oh, are we connected? Are we good? Am I going to commit to having a third drink and then definitely have to stay on your couch?" Or like I feel like you're literally going to have to decide in the first drink whether that's your only drink or you're going to commit. Okay. Anyway, my name's Jen Murphy. I hope I get laid soon. Okay, bye.